How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Guys, as you can see from the title of the video, this video is going to be on Ian Brady, the letters from Ian Brady. Now, I no longer have Brady's letters. I haven't had them for a very long time. I've got scans of 6 of the letters. As you can see from the beginning of the video, Brady's handwriting is illegible. It's very hard to read. I've spent 6 hours now reading the scans that I have of Brady's letters and then writing down word for word what he said to the best of my knowledge of what he says. So I can relay that to you guys. Now, I wrote to Brady because obviously I'm from Manchester. He committed his crimes in Manchester. Whilst I was in Strangeways, I read a true crime book about Brady, being in that prison and stuff. And I was also raised watching serial killer documentaries, gang documentaries, gangster documentaries, and just crime documentaries in general. I've had that interest. I still carry that interest to this day. And for some naive reason, I believed that using my angle as a criminal, I could earn Brady's trust because everyone else that was going to be writing to him was going to be an academic, student of criminology, sociology, psychology, forensic psychology, trying to get inside his mind, trying to get him to open up to them. But their agenda, they had an agenda. I didn't, but I secretly did. I wanted to get the location of Keith Bennett's body, God bless Keith Bennett, so he could be repatriated with Winnie Johnson, his mother. God bless Winnie Johnson, may she rest in peace. I know it was naive, guys, but if you don't ask, you don't get. And I believe I got to know Brady on a different level to others. So the letters are here, they're dated and stuff, so I'm going to read them in order that Brady wrote to me. 2nd of July 2015. Dear Cody, thanks for your letters and photos. Yes, most psychiatrists and criminologists are merely political parrots reinforcing the state line integrally in order to obtain official posts, peers, commissioners as reliable rubber stampers. I received letters from many university students and lecturers asserting that my book, The Gates of Janus, would have been worth 10 times if it was written by FBI profilers, psychiatrists, psychologists, etc., all trying to create a media career for themselves by claiming to have a unique insight into the criminal mind, in reality meaning that they themselves think and act as criminals. Not surprisingly, of course, as criminal instincts are intrications latent or partially active in the minds of every sane person. As for always publicly stated, you can't treat decent, honest, respectable people when it comes to serial global slaughter and theft, as all history illustrates. If you want the real news, on Al Jazeera Freeview Channel 133, with dozens of political, tribal, social wars, etc., raging daily throughout the world, you'll perhaps conclude that most of the sane people are in prison. The real underworld of major crime is obviously above politicians, bankers, military, corporate, etc., who are all psychopathic or psychotic. The whole African continent consists of 50-odd countries run by insane dictators, and you need only look at much as Tony Blair and George Bush as recent representations of war criminals in the West. Study the leaders of the world, not the petty criminals in its prisons. And the police and the intelligence and military forces which protect the elite status of the establishment. All this is self-prevalent to many, of course, but not the sleepwalkers. Yes, I know. I asked him if he knew Mosley and Greenfield areas in Manchester and stuff. And he said, yes, I know the areas well, leading to Huddersfield and other major cities of the north. Bolton, ? Some excellent architecture up York way. River Abbey is worth a visit. Yes, it's academic, stereotypical smears that all serial criminals mistreat animals. We used to mistreat anyone who did, as documented. Yes, I had a criminal record in Glasgow and was on an apprenticeship at the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Govan. Also worked at Smithfield Market, Manchester, but it was someone else who implicated me in a petty crime, falsely leading to Borstal, where I ran gambling and booze. Eventually, I worked in offices as I always insisted that one should have a legal source of income as well. I was educated at Shawlands Academy in Glasgow, but again, I chose my own path, studying psychology and other subjects suitable to my plans. No, I donated all money from the Gates of Janus to charities, No. I asked him for a visit, and he said, no, I altered all social visits and phone calls in 1998 when Ashworth, obviously the hospital, became a regressive prison. And then we're speaking about Manchester, and I asked him about Manchester. He said, yes, Tib Street was always a criminal haunt running down to Smithfield, the King's Pub on Oldham Street. I used to do the door at the King's Pub. The King's Pub's still there to this day, but it's now named the Northern. Yes, I visited Berlin, Munich, Hamburg and Nuremberg. Guns, I asked him if he had any firearms and stuff, because I know he had a fascination with firearms. And he put here, he goes on to talk about the arrest for the murders, guys, right? When police surrounded the house and blocked all roads, I was caught in bed downstairs while 2 pistols, a 45 and a 38 and a rifle were all upstairs. So he was caught in bed downstairs. Upstairs, he states that he had a 45, a 38 and a rifle, which were all upstairs. Elsewhere, we also had a 303 rifle and a Browning 9mm automatic with unlimited ammunition. Yes, I asked him if he knew other areas of Manchester. He said, yes, I know Oldham and Shaw, Altill, etc. I enclosed a signed label for sticking in Janus, his book. Thanks for the envelope. Smithfield, ? I asked him about Smithfield Market. This is somewhere that he worked. I know I've since located it, but it says here, it was sandwiched between Tib Street and Shoedill. The pub, the band on the wall, is still there even to this day. And still there also is the Millstone. I used to work the door at the Millstone on Thomas Street in the Northern Quarter. Yes, I used the Snakes Pass. The Snakes Pass is, for those that don't know, is it's a road that leads from like over the hills towards Sheffield and stuff. So he said here, I asked if he was religious. No, I'm not religious. As I've said, when men make plans, the gods laugh, etc. When the police up in Glasgow, when called, up to Glasgow, incognito meetings would take place at a bench in the Eastern Necropolis. I believe this to be a park up in Glasgow, overlooking the city and the river at 10 o'clock in the morning. Just down from and then he's back to Manchester. He says, just down the road, just down from the entrance to Tib Street, on Market Street, down a side street, was a basement bar called Liston's, another criminal haunt. I'm told that the Rolling Stone Wyman has since converted it into a restaurant. Signed, best wishes, Ian Stewart Brady. The next one. Dated 2nd of August 2015. These weren't the first letters I received from him. Like I said, these are just the 6 that I had scans of. 2nd of August 2015. Dear Cody, thank you for your July letters. No, I didn't authorise any extended edition of the book. I donated the entire proceeds of the first edition to charity and all future proceeds. So the publisher, by sending me no funds or royalties for the second edition and foreign translated editions, is in effect stealing from and defrauding charities of proceeds due to them. As for the afterword by Soates, Peter Soates is one of the owners of Feral House Book Publishing Company. Adam Palfrey and Peter Soates, they own this company together. It was widely attacked by all in the first edition. The publisher, Palfrey, this is the other guy, Adam Palfrey, admitted in writing that the books, having 2 excellent introductions by the famous author Colin Watson and Dr. Alan Kitely, both of whom have corresponded with me for decades, he paid Soates to write a deliberate attack in order to placate any right-wing criticisms. Soates is a convicted US paedophile, child pornographer and police informer, and was publicly described as a toilet door scribbler who would produce any picture or obscenity for money, which reflects even more clearly the money-grabbing greed and treachery of the publisher, of course. Obviously, the death of Colin Watson, obviously Brady's longtime friend, last year, so we're talking 2014, obviously encouraged Palfrey to increase his fraudulent exploitation, so feel free to take any measures of public exposure you think fitting. My solicitors have also been instructed likewise and for legal action. As you know, might is right and the victor always writes history and dictates morality. Prisoners are naturally exploited both for money and to distract attention from the major criminals in government, corporations, the military and force of law and order. All self-evident Yes, I thought you'd know the Kings, talking about the King's pub on Oldham Street, which I used to do with Dora. I used it to disappear through the back into Tib Street, then past the millstone. No, my solicitors made it plain throughout the media that Powell was a woman from South Wales who used to get friendly with Brady and was selling stories on him. She was then entirely dismissed from my legal affairs, etc., etc. On Shude Hill, talking about an area of Manchester again, which there's a tram stop there now, there's a bus station, there's pubs and shops and stuff. On Shude Hill, Smithfield, there was a gunsmith's, Stensby's, now closed. I used to go into Stensby's gun shop as a kid, right? I used to sky school and go into this gun shop. It's now, I think it's a fish and chip shop last time I checked. So Brady used to go into his gun shop. I went into it as a kid. I got supplies, talking about gun supplies here, from Belgium before I had access to unlimited from clubs. Now, it's well documented that Brady got Hindley, Myra, to join these gun clubs so that they had readily available access to firearms and ammunition. No, as I stated, I stopped all social visits and phone calls in 1998 when this place became a regressive prison, a Merseycare POA trust, and despite many of my previous solicitors asking me to reconsider, I remain unchanged and without regret in this respect. 99, Screwball, fucking Zap Lolly, Apple Cider Lolly. You shout it, I'll get it. Fuck's sake. Right, so it became, so his previous solicitor has asked him to reconsider, and he says he remains unchanged and without regret in this respect. Thanks for the envelopes. If you see any Schaefer pen refills, blue medium, he used to have a certain pen and he took this Schaefer blue medium pen refills, so he asked me to get them. Obviously I was trying to butter him up to get information, so of course I bought them. He says here, if you see any Schaefer pen refills, blue medium around, I'm running out, just 2 will do. You probably recall Bellevue Amusements and Park. I enclose a printout of the large prison. There was a prison called I think it was the Bellevue Goal, and stuff like that. So he said, I enclose a printout of the large prison that once stood there. Just shows how the past lies in endless forgotten layers. I enclose a photo of the black glass Daily Express offices as they once were in 1950s, 60s at the corner of Ancoats Lane and Oldham Road, as I lit up as I remember. Still there to this day. As usual, please excuse the bedridden handwriting. Best wishes, signed Ian Stewart Brady. Right guys, this is all for this. Someone's taking a right Roppis. I'm sure he's a pedo. He comes round in all weathers, not just Brady, this fucker as well. Right guys, going to leave this video here for now. I've got a few more to read, so stay with me for part 2. Like, comment, subscribe.